body movements, learning objectives, the human skeletal system, functions of the skeletal system, structure of the human skeleton, joints, joints and types of joints, muscular system, locomotion in animals. We know that all living beings are made up of structural units called cells. These cells are specialized in structure and function in order to perform different functions. Cells units together to form tissues, tissues units to form an organ, and organs units together to form organ system. Our body is made up of number of systems. Each system performs a specialized function. All the systems are linked together and make communication with the help of nervous system. There are several organ systems in our body. These are given below in the table. System, organs, digestive system, mouth, food pipe, small intestine, large intestine, liver, pancreas, rectum, respiratory system, nose, mouth, windpipe, lungs, circulatory system, heart, blood vessels, nervous system, brain, spinal cord, nerves, sense organ, excretory system, skin, lungs, kidney, liver, large intestine, urinary bladder, ureter, reproductive system, ovaries, testes, uterus, the human skeletal system. In this chapter, we will study about skeletal system in human beings and some other animals which are vertebrates and invertebrates separately. The framework of bones and cartilages which supports the body of an animal or human is called its skeletal system. When you are born, your skeleton has around 350 bones. By the time you become an adult, you have around 206 bones. This is because, as you grow, some of the bones join together to form one bone. Our bones don't simply work on their own. The bones join together to form joints. The end of each bone is covered by a tough, smooth, shiny substance called cartilage. The cartilage-covered bone ends are kept apart by a thin film of slippery fluid. Our bones are held together by strong stretchy bands called ligaments. These tissues prevent the bones from being dislocated or from extending beyond their proper range of movement. Functions of the skeletal system. It forms framework of the body. It helps to protect and keep the delicate organs of the body in their proper positions. For example, the bony cage made by breastbone, ribs and the backbone protects heart and lungs. The brain is protected by the bones in the skull. The backbone protects the spinal cord. It allows us to move. Because our muscles are attached to our bones, when our muscles move, they move the bones, and we move. Structure of the human skeleton. The human skeleton has 4 basic parts: the skull, the backbone or spine, the ribs, the limb bones. The skull. The skull is the bony structure that surrounds and protects our brain. The skull supports the structures of the face and protects the brain against injury. The skull has 2 main parts. Cranium. The cranium is that part of the skull that holds and protects the brain in a large cavity, called the cranial vault. Facial bones. The facial bones consist of the upper and lower jaws and a few other bones. The lower jaw is movable. The movement of this jaw enables us to eat, talk and sing. The skull. Structures. The spine or backbone. The backbone, or the vertebral column, extends from the base of the skull to the hip. The spine is actually made up of 33 small bones, called vertebrae, with a cord inside. The vertebrae are the bones of the spine. Together, they support the entire body. Each of the vertebral bones has an anterior, front, part and a posterior, back, part. The anterior portion is called the vertebral body. The spinal cord is a bundle of nerves that takes messages from the brain to the body. Backbone. Cervical 7 bones. Thoracic 12 bones. Intervertebral discs. Lumbar 5 bones. The backbone has 5 regions. Starting from the top, these regions are 1. Neck. 2. Chest. 3. Belly. 4. Hip. 5. Tail. The shoulder bones. The shoulder consists 2 bones, clavicle, collarbone, and the scapular, shoulder blade. The clavicle connects the upper arm to the trunk of the body. The scapula, shoulder blade, is a large triangular flat bone on the back side of the rib cage. Shoulder girdles, clavicle, scapula, rib, humerus. The chest bone. The chest bones form a cone-shaped bony cage. The elliptical bones of the cage are called ribs. They are comprised of 24 bones arranged in 12 pairs. 10 pairs of these ribs are attached to the breastbone at the front with the help of cartilage. The last 2 sets of rib bones are called floating ribs. Floating ribs are smaller than both the true ribs and the false ribs. They are attached to the spine at the back, but are not connected to anything in the front. The ribs protect the heart and lungs from injuries and shocks that might damage them. The ribs. Hip bones. The hip bone is formed by the fusion of 3 bones. The hip bones together with the hip and the tail parts of the backbone form a large bony bowl, called pelvis. Hip bones. Psi facts. The most common fractures are to the wrist, as it is a natural reaction to put out our hands to protect ourselves when we fall over. The limb bones. The bones of feet and hands are flexible. The arm consists of 3 bones, ulna, radius and humerus. The upper bone is long bone called humerus. The lower arm has 2 bones, radius and ulna. The main bones of the legs are the femur, patella, fibula and tibia. Longest and strongest bone of human body is the thigh bone or femur. The patella is a thick bone which is attached with the femur. The bones of lower leg are the tibia, shin bone, and fibula. The limb bone. Joints. You have already learnt that the human skeleton consists of more than 206 bones. At many places, 2 or more bones meet together. The place where 2 or more bones meet is called a bone joint, or simply as joint or place of articulation. The bones are held together at the joint by tough, stretchy bands called ligaments. The ligaments prevent dislocation and the presence of movable joints. Types of joints. There are various kinds of bone joints in our body. These are described below. Ball and socket joint. The joint in which the rounded end of one bone fits into the cavity, hollow space, of the other bone is called ball and socket joint. Such joints allow freedom of movement in all directions. Ball and socket joint. Head of humerus. Scapula. Hinge joints. These joints occur where the convex surface of one bone fits into the concave surface of another bone, so making movement possible in one plane only. Examples of these joints are the knee and the elbow joints. Hinge joints have ligaments mainly at the sides of the joints. Gliding joints. The wrist or ankle joints have flattened ends of bones that can move against each other. These joints allow side to side too, as well as backward and forward movement. The vertebrae also have similar joints that allow slight movement. This type of joint is called gliding joints. Gliding joints are in the wrist region. A hinge joint. Humerus. Radius. Ulna. Pivot joints. These joints occur where a bony ring rotates round the pivot axis of another bone, such as the ring-like atlas rotating around the odontoid process of the axis, allowing the head to turn from side to side. The end of one bone rotates round the axis of another bone, such as the end of the radius rotating around the ulna as the palm of the hand is turned inwards or outwards. A pivot joint between the radius and ulna. Pivot joint. Muscular system. More than 600 skeletal muscles move your skeleton and organs, heat up your body and keep you upright. A muscle is made up of bundles of fibers, inched together by connective tissue. Muscles need to move, they weaken and shrivel when they cannot. When you move, muscles contract around your joints, resulting in activity of those joints, such as bending an elbow. Muscles are connected to bones by hard cord called tendons. The muscles move the bones by their pull. For example, when you move your arm up and down, movements of your arm are controlled by two muscles, biceps and triceps. When you want to raise your arm, the biceps in front contract, i.e. they become shorter and fatter to pull up the arm. To lower the arm, the triceps at the back contract and pull it down. Working of the biceps and triceps. Biceps contracted. Insertion. Triceps relaxed. Tendon. Biceps relaxed. Humerus. Radius. Origin. Triceps contracted. Ulna. Locomotion in animals. All living organisms move. The movement may occur in the whole body of the organism or only in certain parts of it. The movement of an organism, bodily from one place to another, is called locomotion. Locomotion involves the whole body, as in walking, running, swimming and flying. Locomotion helps animals to move from an unfavorable place to a favorable place, to find their food and shelter, to protect themselves from their enemies, to find suitable place for reproduction. A change in the position of any part of the body with respect to its axis is called movement. Snail. Mouse. Locomotion in fish. The density of water makes it very difficult to move in for aerial animals, but fish can move very smooth and quickly. Skeleton and fins help fish to swim in water. The muscles are arranged in multiple directions that allow the fish to move in any direction. The fins provide a platform to exert the thrust from the muscles onto the water. Movement in a fish. Forward movement. Sideways thrust. Resultant thrust. Backward thrust. Locomotion in snakes. Snakes do not have limbs, but rough scales on the underside of the body help in locomotion. Their curved body makes many loops, and each loop gives the forward push against the surface the snake moves forward. This type of movement is called slithering. Locomotion in snakes. Locomotion in other animals. The body of snails are covered with calcareous shell. Shell cannot help in locomotion. Snail brings out its soft foot through shell and moves slowly with the help of a flat foot. The shell produces a liquid called mucus which helps in locomotion. Different organisms have different ways of movement and locomotion. The unicellular organisms move in a different way from the multicellular organisms. Amoeba moves with the help of pseudopodia, false feet-like projections. These pseudopodia are cytoplasmic extensions in the direction of movement. These extensions also assist amoeba in procuring food. Euglena, another unicellular organism, moves with the help of long thread-like flagella. Similarly, another unicellular organism called Paramecium has specialized hair-like structures, cilia, all over the body that help in movement. Animals have been divided into two major groups based on the presence or absence of backbone. The animals that have a backbone come under the group vertebrates, whereas the animals that do not have a backbone are grouped under invertebrates. Invertebrates, locomotion and limb movement are carried out by muscles in association with the skeletal system. Muscle contraction generates a force that is utilized to move bones in the skeleton. This results in movement. In invertebrates, bodies are devoid of a skeleton, but some animals possess muscles for their movements. In Hydra, the body has two types of contractile cells. Processes of these cells run in the body wall both along the central body cavity and long axis of the body. Contraction and relaxation of these cells shorten and elongate respectively their body parts. As a result, Hydra can perform all sorts of movements including elongation and shortening of body, somersaulting and looping, paramecia. In annelids such as earthworms and leeches, movement is made possible due to the presence of muscle fibers. The muscle fibers are arranged along the long axis of the body as well as circularly around the body. The muscular movement causes their blood to be pushed in the direction of movement, thus causing the animal to move. The movements of both leeches and earthworms are shown in the figure. Locomotion in earthworm. In animals such as crabs and insects, an exoskeleton is present in the body comprising of hollow tubes and flat plates. The muscles inside the body are attached to this exoskeleton, facilitating the movement of the body. Several insects have wings attached to their bodies. The muscles joined to the exoskeleton control the wing movement. For example, a butterfly. The vertebrates consist of fish, mammals, lizards, birds, frogs, etc. These have an endoskeleton inside the body comprising of bones and cartilages. Their bodies have a muscular system that enables movement and locomotion by making the bones move. The amphibians such as frog can live in water and on land. Their hindlimbs have webbed feet, which assist in swimming as shown in the figure. Birds can fly in the air as well as walk on ground. They have their forelimbs modified for the purpose of flying. Frogs' feet. Flying in birds. Keywords. Skeleton, framework of the body formed by bones and cartilages. Cartilage, a strong smooth material. Rib, the flexible cage protecting heart and lungs. Skull, a round bony box protecting brain. Spinal cord, the nerves that run down the backbone. The nerves that run down the backbone. Sternum, a flat triangular bone of knee. Vertebrates, animals which have backbone, invertebrates. Joint, a place of joining of two or more bones. Ligament, connective tissue which joins bone to bone. Summary. The skeleton contains 206 bones which supports and protects your body. The skull protects the brain, eyes and ears. The ribs protect the lungs, heart and liver. The spine is made up of 33 small bones, called vertebrae. Bones are connected together by different type of joints. A joint is a place where two or more bones of the skeleton are attached to each other. Skeletal muscle moves the joint in the body. Axial skeleton is made up of skull, spine and ribs. The act of moving body from one place to another is called locomotion.